Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my final power rankings for the 2023-2024 NFL season. I mean, this is the last week that everyone's gonna play, so there is no better time to do it. But before we hop right into it, we got a couple of quick plugs as always. So don't you dare forget to use code WyattzWorld to save yourself a discount on any G Fuel products or match up to $100 of your first deposit on Prize Picks. On top of that, code WYATT10 will also save you a discount on any Waggle merchandise. Link is in the description. But that's all I got. Let's get into my final power rankings of this season. Alright, so usually I would explain what we're doing, but everybody knows what we're doing. Therefore, we're not going to waste any more time, and we're just going to hop right into it. So, number 32, the worst team in the league. I don't think this has changed one time this year. It remains the Carolina Panthers. XFL team here, or sorry, USFXFL team, or whatever the fuck it's called now. That's what the Panthers are. They're terrible now. They've been terrible all season, and I'm really curious to see what moves they make in the offseason because this team simply cannot repeat what they just went through for the last 3 months. All right, moving on to 31. Give me the Patriots. I don't like anything about this team. I think their offense is both boring and lousy. Defense isn't what it used to be. Coach doesn't look like he gives a shit, and you guys just had a historically bad run for your franchise. Not a lot good happened this season. That'll bring us to 30, where I will award it to the Commanders. This is another team that's just been kind of a train wreck for the last 2 months, it seems like. Matter of fact, they haven't won a game since November 5th, and before that, it was October 15th. I understand your coach is terrible, and you guys did lose some defensive weapons, but you gotta look at it from the standpoint that Sam has completely melted down. And you guys have allowed 27 points every single game since November 15th. It's just a lot of bad football being played. And moving on to 29, we got the Chargers, a team that I think was a top 10 to top 15 roster heading into this season for me, and now they're bottom 5. I mean, you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a wide receiver 1, you don't have a wide receiver 2. Your running back moves like his legs are made of Play-Doh. Also, this team has lost 4 games in a row, and even though they're facing the Chiefs without any starters this week, I am still determined to believe that they are going to lose game number 5 in a row. And that'll bring us to number 28, and that is the Jets. Hit or miss, man. They're either scoring 30 points and winning, or they're scoring 0 points and losing by 20, it seems like. They have a good defense, they have a couple good offensive weapons, but they need a quarterback, they need an offensive line. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I really don't think Robert Saleh is all that great of a coach anymore either, so maybe they need to move on from him, but he still will get a pass for this season. And now moving on to 27, we've got the Titans. This team is vanilla and bare bones as it comes. They don't have a good roster, they don't have a good offense, they don't have a good defense, but yet their coach is capable enough to play every single team close. Well, most teams. Very curious to see what they would look like if they did not have Mike Vrabel, but they still had this same roster, because I can almost promise they would have like 2 wins, maybe none. Moving on to 26, give me the Cardinals. Now, I know they only have 4 wins. How are they ahead of some of the teams who have 5? Well, because they look better. In the month of December, they knocked off the Steelers and the Eagles. That's 2 playoff teams. On top of that, the games they've lost, they've still been putting up offense too. They're scoring points. It's not like this team is just laying down and getting kicked in the face. No, you hit them, they're gonna hit you right back. I respect what this team has done this year, and I respect the offense that Kyler Murray has helped generate since his return with guys like Trey McBride, James Conner, Michael Wilson. Actually have a pretty underrated team right now. And now we got number 25. Give me the Giants. Look, before you scoff at them being higher than any of these teams, understand they've actually played really, really good the last pretty much month and a half besides 1 game. I mean, they beat the Commanders, they beat the Patriots, they beat the Packers, then they got whipped by the Saints, and now the last 2 games that they've lost to both the Eagles and the Rams, they've scored 25 points in each game and only lost by 1 score. Like, they might not be good, they might not be consistent with the quarterback, but they are respectable. And now give me 24, it is the Falcons. Now, this is a team that I think should be up a lot higher, and they're not, because they're held back at the aspect of they don't have a coach and they don't have a quarterback game. I mean, defensively, they've got a hell of a roster. Offensively, they've got weapons who other teams would kill to have. Yet you're 7-9 and just got the absolute brains blown out of you by the Bears. And that'll bring us to 23. It really hurts me to do this, but the Vikings, man, they're done. They're cooked. Injury. Yeah, I understand offensive weapons had nothing to do with the fact that Jordan Love just destroyed their defense. That's a Packer thing in itself. But this team was, approaching the top 15, top 13 conversation at one point this year, and they have just lost players, lost games, lost respect, and now they're just pretty much waiting for next season to start. Please extend Kirk Cousins. Moving on to 22, we got the Denver Broncos, another team that I thought was turning it around with the midseason push, and then they just ended up shitting the bed and making one of the worst roster moves I've ever seen. I mean, your team underperformed, your coach is an asshole, and I think at this point you might as well just rebuild your entire offense if you're gonna go ahead and bring in another quarterback. Pure sheer stupidity by this team this season. I'm really disappointed. That'll bring us to 21. Give me the Raiders. Hey, 7-9 or not, they've actually had a pretty good stretch of games here at the end too. They scored 63 points on the Chargers, beat the Chiefs, and then they barely just lost to the Colts, where they actually played a really decent game, and I think Aiden O'Connell had the best game of his career. And I know he didn't throw 4 touchdowns, but he also wasn't placed in the red zone every single time either. I actually think an offseason under a head coach who isn't John Gruden or Josh McDaniels will do this team wonders. Now give me number 20, the Saints. Oh, fuck you guys. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. I've never liked you. I mean, I've grown respect for you, and I've grown out of the absolute pure disdain I had for you back when Drew Brees, Sean Payton, and Michael Thomas were running the table there. But still, you guys are the same annoying, shitty team you always have been. I know you have great offensive talent. I know you have great defensive talent. Maybe that's the reason why I hate you guys so much, because it's so frustrating that year after year I have unpredictability with you guys. You are constantly known as that team who is performing way worse than you ever should. Well, aside from the Falcons. Like, this team is just a roller coaster. That is just a fucking roller coaster. And now moving on to 19, we got the Bengals. Look, without Joe Burrow, they're still a dangerous team, but nowhere near as good. And on top of that, they have the second worst defense in the league and a bottom 11 performing offense. It's honestly kind of a miracle they're even 8-8, but again, even as bad as the offense may be performing, with those weapons, you are always going to be a little deadly. And that'll bring us to 18. I can't believe I'm saying this, but give me the Bears. I tried to actually warn some people a couple weeks ago, and I said their defense was performing at a top 10 level. This team was not nearly as bad as their record had showed. Chemistry, that is what I think they just needed to build there, because in recent weeks, they have won 4 out of the last 5 games, and in the last 2, they've scored 27 or more points. This team is screaming what the Lions were last year to me. That is what I'm getting from the Bears. I think next year is going to be a big year. All right, moving on to 17, we got Indianapolis. They've been an underrated team all year, dude. They've been banged up. They've had their best players leave their team, and yet they're still playing at a good level and contending. Give Shane his actual quarterback in an offseason to patch up some holes. This team is going to be an actual threat next season as well. 16, give me Tampa. I still have love for them, even though they blew it against the Saints. I think this team has the best safety in the league and one of the most underrated offenses in the league at the moment. Like, seriously, it doesn't matter where the receivers are. Baker is going to throw it at them, and they developed a run game with the running back who I didn't think was even capable of being a running back. They're a solid middle of the pack team. 15, give me Jacksonville. Yeah, unfortunately, they've taken a little bit of a tumble, but I don't think that should surprise anybody. I mean, they lost 4 games in a row and then finally had a bounce back by beating the worst team in the league in the Carolina Panthers. Now, I know they're missing Trevor, and I know it was a shutout performance, which is encouraging, but compared to the team you guys opened the season as, you're just a shell of yourself. 14, give me Green Bay. Yeah, their defense might be terrible because of Joe Barry, but their offense is what you gotta look at here, and the development of Jordan Love. Remember when I said all he needed to do was fix his completion percentage and he would be good? Well, that's exactly what happened. He's throwing in the 60 to 70% now, and he's had 7 touchdowns and 0 picks in the last 3 games. Especially when Aaron Jones is healthy, this team has a good offense. It's just their defense really needs to be fixed, and I think the biggest problem is undoubtedly their coordinator. And that'll bring us to 13. We got Seattle. Speaking of a roller coaster, man, this is another one. Seattle, they could be probably as low as 18 and as high as 11 if you really wanted them to be. They have good weapons. They've got a good offense. They've got a good defense. They've got a good coach. It's just the sole fact that this team can't finish fucking games. Moving on to 12, we've got the Texans. Look, with CJ Stroud, I think that's an elite team. I think they've got the roster. I think they've got the coach. I think they've got everything they need to make any dream they want come true. Number 11, give me Pittsburgh. And this is another team that you could have as high as 10 and as low as 20. I mean, their last 2 games they've won, they've thrown up 30 points of offense. I think they look great now, but as soon as I have confidence, they're going to go and lose by 40 points. I never actually thought I would lobby for Mason Rudolph to be the clear-cut starter there, but I think Mason Rudolph should be the clear-cut starter there. Number 10, 10, give me the Rams. They deserve it. They've won 6 out of the last 7 of their games, averaging like 30 points a fucking game. This is looking like the 2016 Rams offense again. This is a team that I thought was gonna have 4 wins max, and now they're 9-7, and I guarantee you they knock somebody out of the playoffs in the first round. Now we've got number 9, give me Philly. Yeah, you guys might still be a top 10 team, but that doesn't hide the fact that you're also still ass. I mean, you can't put an 11-5 team out of the top 10, right? But you can call them out for playing bad football over the period of 2 months. You guys have lost 4 out of your last 5, and you haven't beaten a team by more than 1 score since October 22nd. Literally frauds. Now we got number 8, give me Kansas City. It's another team that, as bad as they may seem like they're playing, they're always going to be a top contender to win the Super Bowl, and they're always going to be a threat. As much as I hate to admit this, you do understand if Mahomes had coherent receivers, they would be fucking dominant right now. It's literally their offense. They have the number 2 defense in football, and they've always been in the top 5 this year. And now we'll swing through number 7 with Detroit. I know they got screwed out of their game with Dallas, but I still think they are a very good contending team for the Super Bowl right now. Clinch the NFC North, top 3 offense in the league. I think this Lions team is number 7 in football. All right, moving on to number 6, give me Miami. Now, them dropping 56 points definitely dropped them a spot or 2, but it's also the fact that they lost Bradley Chubb, which they couldn't afford to do, and I'm pretty sure like 90% of their offensive line is hurt too. Like, this team is banged up, man. Still terrified of that offense. I'm still uncomfortable around Jalen Ramsey, but your team has looked better and they could be better had your coach not decided to play your fucking stars in the final 3 minutes being down by 30. Number 5, give me Dallas. Handheld by the refs or not, I still think this is one of the better, most complete rosters in the entire league. Got a great offense, they've got a great quarterback with a great receiver, their defense is full of playmakers, and again, whether people want to admit it or not, this roster, this team is fully equipped with everything they need to be champions. 4, and give me the Browns. They're elite. My only true gripe about them right now is, yeah, they don't have Nick Chubb, and you gotta wonder if 38-year-old Joe Flacco is gonna be able to carry this run into the playoffs, or if this is just like a regular season insanity run. Regardless, through everything that this team had thrown at them from the start of the year all the way until now, you would expect them to have a record of about 5-11, and it's literally the exact opposite of that. Moving on to 3, give me Buffalo. I could be biased for this, although I don't think I am. Their defense has been lights out. They've won 4 games straight, and even with their offense being as bad as it is right now, the team still holds the number 5 overall offense in all of football, averaging 26.9 points a game. Yeah, we might not be perfect. Yeah, we might have started the year rough, but all bias aside, I'm gonna go ahead and say we are playing a lot fucking better than a lot of people want to say right now. Number 2, give me San Francisco. Ever since the Chase Young trade, they have appeared to be the perfect football team unless they play the Ravens. No one has been able to shut them up. No one has been able to make them blink. No one has been able to stop them except Baltimore, the number 1 team in the league. Now, roster-wise, do I think the Ravens are better than the 49ers? No. But logic would tell you that the team with the most wins in the league, the team that kicked the shit out of the so-called best team in the league, the team that has had injuries thrown at them left and right and is still remaining on top of everybody, the Baltimore Ravens, are the number 1 team in football at the moment. It just makes sense. And I understand if it was a little confusing how I did number 1 and 2. I always try to join them together because I like to talk about them at the same time, but that is how I view the top of the NFL, even though I don't think Baltimore has as good of a team as San Francisco. They are without a doubt playing better than them at this moment in time. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be my final power rankings for the 2023-2024 NFL season. And that is also going to be where I end the video for today. I really hope you guys liked this video and you enjoyed all of my power rankings this season. If you did enjoy my content, you already know what to do to show support. I appreciate any and all help, but with everything I said, I'm going to hop off and get this edited so you guys can watch it on time. Have a fantastic rest of your Thursday. Check Twitch. I might be streaming. And as always, I will see you in the next video.